We
are live. That's a way to start.
We're live. How are you doing? Rimpy tried to do live. What do we do in these sessions, Ree? We just talk about life. We're trying to figure out life. We don't know what we're doing, but we're doing all right. We're figuring it out as we go.
A little bit of life, a little bit of intuition, a little bit of card reading.
Oh yeah, a bit of card reading, life lesson. A lot of bit of card reading, definitely a lot of it. I found some new decks actually that I forgot I had, which I was showing Ree the other day. So this is what I normally use, Angel Guides. Then I found the Chris Carl Crazy Sexy Love Notes. These are really cute. And then I found this Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth inspiration cards. And they're not so much like reading like cards, but they are. I think you can use whatever you want as an intuitive guide.
That's something that we determined. Yeah, I feel like we can be like, which rock am I going to pick from the pile, and what does it mean for me? Right?
Exactly.
That's what it is. If it's coming in, it's coming in.
So we're going to be doing some readings. So if you stay with us, we will do readings for you. You can have a question, or you may have just a general desire, like you just want a general reading. We can just pick a card and see what's coming up for you. So I'm very sure we'll end up doing that today. So stay online or join us later again if you want, or whatever you join us. Ree, how are you doing? Should we kick off with our
sick?
You are sick. You are
sick. Just let everyone know I'm sick. I have a cold. I'm not inhaling this just for the fun of it. Although it is pretty fun and it is addictive. So be careful. But Vicks inhaler. I've taken the branding off, not because I didn't want to market it, but it was just picking away at stuff, and I just took it off. But that is what it is, guys. I promise it's not anything else. You can tell from my voice.
She's in there sniffing away on the live. I'm like, okay, Ree, we need to have a chat. We need to have a talk.
I've given up alcohol, but I've taken up. No, I'm kidding. No.
Yes. Yeah. No.
There's a tree in here, and I'm actually just sniffing a tree right now, but not trees.
Jimmy's here. Reading go. I don't know whatever he said. Reading go. Jimmy, we're going to do a reading for you if you would like one. Hope you're well. So re-sniffing stuff, but don't worry, it's legal. Hey, let's kick off. Emotion of the day. So this is our first question. So if you are joining us live, share with us too. What is your emotion today? What is the emotion of the day? Ree, what's your emotion?
My emotion of the day is... My emotion of the day is... It's not even an emotion, it's adventure, but it's just joy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like that joy, but like childish joy, like childlike joy. Because it's like, I have no idea what the day is going to hold. Like, am I going to get better? Is something exciting going to happen? I don't know. Like, so many things are going on right now. What's going to happen? I don't know, but I'm really excited to see what happens because, like, I'm just excited because who knows what it's going to be, and then how am I going to feel then? I don't know, but right now I just feel really excited.
Okay,
really
nice.
Joyous about it.
Excited. I like that. Anyone watching live, let us know. What is your emotion right now? Let's gather the vibe of the tribe and see what's everyone experiencing right now.
That vibe of the tribe.
Vibe of the tribe. So, emotion of the day. What's for me? Emotion of the day is I've got a mixture of things. I've got excitement as well. I've got a little bit of frustration with myself, but I've got excitement and frustration all at once, which is kind of weird, but it's okay.
Excitation. Frustrated.
I'm frustrated.
It sounds like you're saying frustrated with a really weird accent.
Right?
I'm frustrated. It's like Aussie.
A little bit Aussie, right? I'm frustrated.
No, frustrated.
I love Aussies. I love you all. If you're Aussie and you're watching, I love you. Jimmy has shared his emotion of the day, which is feeling controversial and challenging. So are those feelings, Jimmy, or are those your interpretations of what you're feeling? I feel that those are perceptions and interpretations. So what does it feel like?
I think those could be feelings. I don't know if they're emotions.
Mm.
I
So
think
what would you interpret under that as a emotion?
What's coming up for me for challenging is a little bit of frustration and a little bit of fear.
Mm.
Underlying
Feeling
challenging.
controversial. Yeah. Yeah, controversial. If you're feeling controversial, it's like you want to push some buttons, you want to be you're being controversial.
Oh,
To me, there's
anger,
frustration and anger.
frustration.
There's anger and frustration.
What's
So
going on,
Jimmy, let
Jimmy?
us know. Huh?
What's going on, Jimmy? What's going on? Let's
Yeah,
talk about it.
Jimmy.
It's been a week or two.
Let us know, Jim, if you resonate with that. Anger, frustration, I think is what's underneath those feelings of being controversial and challenging. So it's important to understand, right, that often we think we're talking about an emotion, but we're not. So it's important to dig down and see what's the emotion, not your perception of the emotion. So, for example, one of the classic examples that I always use is if I say I'm feeling powerless, no, that's my perception. That's my interpretation. Powerlessness is not an emotion. The emotion that underlies that is frustration and anger. So, whenever you're frustrated or angry, it's because you are feeling powerless. But it's those emotions that are underneath it. So Jimmy says, yes, you're both right. Yes, so that's what we were getting emotion wise. So thank you for sharing, Jims. So Ree, what did you have? You were excited.
Ooh,
And sniffing. And
I was excited and joyous.
Yeah.
Like it's just this. Like, what does a child feel? A child just feels joy, just pure joy, And it's because I just want to talk about where my emotions coming from, because I have to dig into it a little bit as to what am I feeling, because it was like I was calm and I was like uneasy, and we'll talk about maybe what's going on a little bit if we get into that today. But there's so much, and I went, yeah, no, I'm not gonna fall into that ego trap. Like, I'm good. And I just kind of stepped back and I went, this is kind of exciting. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. This is really exciting. What's next?
Yeah.
It's like that adventure of like going on a trip and traveling, except I can't travel right now. So I feel like my travel bug is showing through like everything else. It's like, ooh, where are we gonna go with the day? What's gonna happen next?
What is going to happen next? That I think is a very interesting perspective to have in life. All right. Do you have any fears today? Fear of the day?
I do.
Okay, go for it.
The fear of losing my job.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Fear of losing my job. Hey, sorry guys, just a quick pause. Your Instagram is a little choppy. Very choppy. And we just had someone who joined. Hello, person who joined us and left, but
still choppy.
You were just kind of cutting out a bit and a bit. No, you're okay now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's fear of losing job. Which is so interesting, as you've said. We've just talked about you got excitement and joy for like the unknown, right? And then there's like a fear of like the unknown. So it's like that's like a bit weird.
It is.
So
interesting. It's a little contradictory, but I know it's there, and it's almost like I have to keep, just reminding myself, not even affirming, but just reminding myself that. So what? And then what? Who knows? Who cares? One door closed, another one opens. Like I got to remember that. Just looking back. So the joy and excitement definitely stems from that. But the fear is underlyingly just kind of trickling in the back, just going, and the ego going, "Hello, I'm real."
Yeah. I mean, what comes up for me there is that it's almost like both of those are still egoic coping mechanisms. because the unknown and the uncertainty, one side of you is going, well, if we can just be so excited by the unknown, isn't this fun? But that's still ego trying to make yourself feel better with the unknown. And then the other side is I'm actually scared of the unknown, and facing it, I'm actually scared of the unknown. But that's still ego. But both of them are little tricks of the mind to try and make you feel more comfortable with the fact that there is something unknown, or somehow address it, or somehow deal with it, whether that's by pretending you're fine with it, or by saying, right, there is a problem, so I'm going to need to look at it and address it. And I feel like both of those are still coming from ego level. But if we went into your soul, I think we would see a little bit more purity. I think it will still be similar to the part of you that's liking the unfolding and the unknown, but the energy of it will be slightly more authentic and more powerful. So it's this subtlety, right, of like what's going on in your consciousness. But I think generally you would still be like that. You would still be like, the unfolding is cool, but something else is there.
I have a question based on that, though, right? So, and that just made me think, like, even like the courses we've done and stuff, if thoughts and feelings aren't real, they're based on situations, and again, they're situational, right? So whether it's the ego, when we talk about our emotion, when we feel an emotion, other than like calmness, I guess, even that being an emotion, that's more of a state of being. So versus like an emotion versus a state of being, right? So like if we're in an emotion, isn't it always coming from ego? Is an emotion not always ego stemmed?
So that's interesting. Yeah, no, it's a really good question. And I've had that similar question. The only place I've got the answer, which doesn't necessarily mean the answer, is I sort of see two types of emotions. So the ego emotions are the happy, the sad, they're polarized, the up, the down, and then the really low ones are like the anger, the frustration, the shame, and so on. But there's almost like always a little battle inside with the polarized ego emotions. Like it says, I'm trying to feel better about it, but actually I don't, and I'm good, and then I'm not, and then not, and then you have transcendental emotions, which are the love, the bliss, the joy, the peace, the calm, the true connection and inspiration, that feeling of goosebumps, that feeling of whatever that emotion would be. To me, those are transcendental, and those are emotions as well, but they're emotions from your true self, your soul, your higher self, your spirit. And my understanding so far of the work we're doing is that those are cool, but it's the other ones that are polarized and therefore ego led, and therefore not real, as we say. So that's where I'm at with it, but I don't know. But it's a good question. I totally get the question. Yeah.
But again, even with the love, right? Like I see what you're saying, and I think it's something I'd have to look into a bit more myself, because it's never come up to actually think of that until just now.
Yeah.
But like even being not being in love, but like having the emotion of love, I almost feel like it's when you're in a state, like it's a state of being, like you are you're emitting that, you are that, right? So you encompass that throughout your mind, body, and soul, and so you become that calmness, you become that, you've gone to that higher level and different dimension, and you are that, right? And I guess, I mean, that's where I'm trying to get, right? That's where we're all trying to, well, not all of us, but we're trying to get to that. And I feel like you are then an emotion, like your entire, and that changes to like a state of being versus an emotion. Because you no longer feel, it's like, yes, sure, I feel the emotion of love, but when I'm feeling that love, when I'm feeling like in an emotional, like I just feel love today, I just feel joyous today, if I haven't encompassed that all the time, then that stays an emotion in my, I mean, right now, I don't know. I'm just speaking out loud. I feel like that just states that just an emotion, having an emotion versus becoming an emotion, which then changes your entire state of being.
A state. Yeah, no, I get you. That makes sense. Right? Good. Okay, so I'm interested in. I don't know where are we at. What question are we on?
You got it, fierce.
Someone says hello, Rita. Love you. Thank you for joining. Al, it's Al.
It's Al.
Hello, Al. we got another comment here, so let's do that, and then I'll go on to this. So Jimmy says, fear of the day for Jim is wanting to correct errors, but involves challenging others. So the fear there, Jimmy's got some errors that need correcting, but it means he will have to challenge other people, and he is fearful about doing that.
Ties into his emotion a little bit,
Very
no?
interesting. Yeah.
Of
So Jim emotion was controversial, challenging, which we said, what did we say was underlying that? Anger,
fear,
frustration.
anger, frustration. And then I think there you go, right? The fear is it's there. It ties into it, I think, Jimmy.
So fear is then basically needing to challenge other people.
But what's the fear of that, Jimmy? What are you afraid of? If you don't mind me asking. Like, what's the fear that comes with challenging other people? Is it the fear of being wrong? Is it the fear of conflict? Is it the fear of not seeing eye to eye? I mean, what's the fear of challenging someone? Is it the fear of hurting their feelings?
Let's give him a little time to ponder that one. We could do a conflict deconstruction on that with you, Jimmy, if you wanted to. That would help us get to that root to see what is your belief that's making you find this difficult. I'm getting echo again. So annoying, but never mind. Just going to ignore it. Keep going. Good. So what are we on? Fear of the day. While Jimmy ponders that one, fear of the day for me, the fear is I'm not doing enough. I'm not making progress. I'm never going to achieve my dreams. I'm sure this has come up before in these calls where I've literally said exactly the same thing. So that seems to be my constant underlying fear in life, which is I'm not doing enough. I'm going to write this down. I'm not doing enough. I'm not achieving. I'm too slow. I'm not disciplined. Discipline's a thing that I might talk about that in tip of the tongue thing, because that's coming up for me at the moment.
That's coming up for me a lot too. That's funny you say that.
Yeah.
Like even just a brief conversation yesterday, discipline was big, and I go, yeah, I'm just that's it. That's huge.
So I'm not doing enough. I'm not achieving. I'm too slow. I'm not disciplined. I won't achieve my dreams. That's my fears.
Everywhere.
So Jimmy's come back and said, so Jimmy, hurting feelings as there are others that support the wrong views.
There's a lot there, Jimmy.
Yeah. Hurting feelings as there are others that support the wrong views. I mean, let's just do a quick what's obvious. So to me, what's obvious, first of all, there is wrong views. Who's wrong or right? And that's immediately creating a polarity. Yeah. So immediately you're now in ego, right? Who's to say what's wrong? Everyone has their own perception. So that's bringing a charge in that maybe could be neutralized. That's my immediate what's obvious.
Hurting feelings. No, same thing. What's like there was the word wrong was just really stands out as if there's a wrong, then there's a right? And then there's already a conflict.
Yeah, there's one of the underlying 12 core beliefs is something along the lines of there is a right way. So one of them, I can't remember what exactly if I've said it right, but there's a right way to do things. So my sense is that that's the underlying belief that's playing out for you, Jimmy, is that whatever this scenario is, there's a right way to do something and someone is not doing it the right way. So that's triggering you.
I just want to point out though, like if it is something that's, again, I guess a universal right or wrong, as in like, don't kill someone, you know? I mean, I'm sure that can be challenged too, but if that's something, then I don't know, do you think that I would say that killing someone is wrong, in my opinion? Is that a generalized humanity opinion to have, or is that also coming from ego? Because that makes me question that now, you know? Like love and kindness, are these not purities of the soul that we are genuinely born with?
Maybe. Don't know.
Oh no.
So, I don't know if you've got anything more for Jimmy there. You were talking about hurting feelings.
I do, and it's again going back to something Pinky and I spoke about very, very recently. You can't worry about other people's feelings. Other people's feelings, excuse me, are based on their beliefs and their values, right? Like you might say something in general, and 5 people out of that, if there's 10 people watching, 5 might be like, "What an asshole!" 5 might be like, "Wow, you know what? That's really smart. That's how you should live life." And you're going, "Well, wait, I said one thing. I didn't say it in a different thing to the different people, right?" So it's just a perception of, what these people might believe and what their values might be versus what their values might be, and that's how they're going to accept what you're saying. You just have to know that what you're saying is coming from a pure place, from a place of your soul and your heart. So if you know that it's coming from your soul, right, versus your ego, and maybe that's something you can sit with and just feel that out, because no one else can do that for you. Only you know that. And then if you hurt someone's feelings, like people are brought up differently, people's environments are different. You cannot control people's feelings. And if you start doing that, then you're starting to repress your true self, right? And that's what we said. You can't and we're not brought up that way. We're brought up to be cautious of what you say and don't speak the truth, and like I think I mentioned it once before, where I was telling one of my kids to be like, you shouldn't say that to your teacher. And it's like, no, that's how I feel. If someone's going to be offended by that, it's different if you're downright going out there and just being cruel and being like calling them names. And, again, there's a commonsensical, and I'm not talking societal views, but there's a commonsensical, like, something about being cruel from your heart, putting someone down. If you looked at everyone in their greatness, let's put it that way, bring it the other way, right? If you look at everyone in their greatness and you say something and just know that they're in their greatness and you've said it not intending to hurt anyone's feelings, how they perceive it, that's none of your business. That's on them. You can't
and if you've stepped into your greatness before you've said and done what you need to do, you will also not be affected anyway, because you're in a different state. This is actually a really important thing you just brought up there, that I remember this tool that I used, which I haven't even reflected on for so long, is that when you've got a conflict with someone or a challenge with someone, or you need to do something or say something that's difficult, you, like we said, you see them in their greatness, but you also step in your greatness and you operate from that level. Okay, how do I challenge from that level? You might even see from that level there's nothing to challenge, because the entire challenge is an ego-led thing, and that's not your highest truth. So maybe you just let it go, but we don't know, Jim. You'll know that. But like you're saying, it's you go into the highest state, you go into their greatness, you go into your greatness, and then you see from there what is the highest action, the highest good. And like we said, only you can know that, Jimmy. But so Jimmy says there is a belief, there is a right way. Yeah, so that may be coming up for you, which is cool. But yeah, I think the conflict with integrity is really helpful for when you're needing to challenge someone. But also, going into your greatness and their greatness. So that is one of his beliefs. Yeah. Which is okay. We don't judge.
I think the most important part of the beliefs and values and that entire learning is to learn and know, right? Because until you know what your beliefs are, until you know what your values are, right? How does it go, P? The dysfunctional soul is the gateway. Dysfunctional personality is the gateway to your soul.
Is the gateway to the soul. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Until and everyone has a dysfunction. We all do. Yeah. That's how we're raised. It's how we're, we didn't just come here and get unaffected by everything that's going on around us. So
the world would be very different if we were not dysfunctional. So let's have a little look at. So Jimmy, while you're pondering, obviously jump in if there's anything more you want on that, and we'd be very happy to do some processes with you if you feel like that might help you, or anything else that's coming up for you as we're going. So let's go to. I don't feel like I'm feeling. I feel like the flow of it at the moment is this one, tip of the tongue. So. Just every time I look at you, it's like
touch it. Just do a touch up. Just a little powdering my nose. It's not powder.
Oh yeah, no,
It's mixed.
yeah.
It's mixed.
Just
Jesus.
can't say
Yeah.
anything these days. Tip of the tongue. So I'd
Go
like
ahead.
to hear your soul's tip of the tongue, though. Like your soul's tip of the tongue. What's on your? Not your. I don't. I feel like I want to take this up a notch because I feel like at the moment the energy's here, which is okay, but I know we're capable of more. So I'd like to raise it up a notch. You know, interestingly, we didn't do our meditation, which we used to do quite often.
I
And we do
no,
our
I didn't stop you because it just felt right, and I think we're gonna do one at the end because I think we're gonna need it.
yeah, I feel like we haven't quite set an intention and gone into zone, but we can do it now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's the beauty of consciousness, is that in every moment you can choose. So I would like to
Yes, I
choose
do
right now.
too.
So I would like to choose right now that when we do tip of the day, not sorry, tip of the day, tip of the tongue. Oh my god. It's okay, I can't speak really. I'm not totally many words that I was about to use that all would be totally inappropriate, so I'm not going to use them. But I can talk. I'm going to try again.
I'm out. Bye, everybody.
Tip of the tongue, I would like to do from an intuitive place. So what's obvious? So if we could even do a little circle on it quickly and have a circle in your mind that says Ree's tip of the tongue, Pinky's tip of the tongue. I'll do mine, you'll do yours, obviously, and just go into that circle and see what's obvious about that. And yeah, you can go first if you want. Oh, I can't. I don't mind.
I need a minute in my circle, but you go ahead.
You go for it. Okay. Let me do it. So I think I need a minute in my circle as well.
Right,
Maybe you should have meditated.
Everybody just take a moment, deep breath in your circles.
Yeah, man, I'm like all over the place right now.
Oh my God. That's exactly so. All right, I'll go first. Literally in my circle, it was like me just running around, and like here's like fear and anxiety of like, I don't know what's happening. Here's like joy of like, oh my God, okay, this is it. Here's like, you already know the answers. Like there's this big thing of like, you know what's happening, you know the answers, you know what you need in life. And so there's this underlying like theme of movement, but chaos. Like everything is in chaos. And then there's this little corner that I kind of went into that was just still. And it was just like, from there, it was like this bubble of stillness. And what I feel like is that's what it's been like for me in the little while. I'm still not getting a there's so many things.
Yeah. I feel like, how do you feel like going with the discipline thing? Because that is coming up for me, and it came up for me earlier today. Because discipline for me definitely is a tip of the tongue. What's this saying? Sorry, Jimmy's done a comment. Oh, on the tip of Jimmy's tongue is lighten up, Jim. I second that. Lighten up, Jim. Don't worry about whatever it is you gotta say to people. Lighten up. There's no right way. But yeah, I think tip of the tongue as well. Like for me, really, like you're saying, there's so much, right? And then that's where the whole discipline thing comes in, because that's been coming up for me now for about the last 24 hours, if not a little bit longer, a few days. Yeah.
Came up for me big yesterday after we got off the call. And that's, we said, like, that's what it is, right? It is just stopping and just doing, putting your head down and just figuring something out, and then setting up a routine, because I'm not in the flow of things. So you go ahead. Talk to me about discipline.
So discipline for me, actually, the way it's been coming up came up for me this morning. I don't know if you guys know this guy. I just did a video on this earlier. I haven't posted it on Facebook and stuff though. Wim Hof. So he does like breathing stuff and getting cold and being really cold and going in the Himalayas in his pants and stuff. And if you know me, I hate being cold. And one of the things he does is cold showers. And it's partly very good for your physical health, your stress, your immune system, and so on. But also, it's for me, it's the discipline of your own mind, right? I'm getting big echoes. Are you hearing that?
Nope. It's just
It will.
you.
It comes out in the recording.
Yeah. Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Annoying. Stop echoing. Sometimes if I move around, it stops.
Yeah. You've gone
Um.
shopping on Instagram again.
So discipline for me. So I'm going to do this intuitively as well, because I can just feel my mind trying to figure out what to say rather than just saying what I want to say. So discipline, what it really means to me, is, or at least what's obvious about that to me right now, is it's around focus. My ability to focus on the things that are important and relevant, not inessential activity and all the junk and the shit and the crap in life that just takes your attention and energy and adds nothing. So discipline for me is my ability to focus, which I'm struggling with. The other thing that discipline is to me is my ability to hang with the tension and the pain. That's what the cold shower thing was about. Can I be in discomfort and not let my body take me into my old compulsive and impulsive patterns that are not where I want to live anymore? So number 2 around discipline is hanging with tension, and that goes into all areas of life, right? When you're trying to create your dreams and your visions, and it's going to be painful. There is going to be pain because you're stretching yourself and there's fear and the ego's pulling you back. So can you hang with that, and learning to hang with it on a whole nother level? Because I'm realizing that my body hates pain and craves comfort. And that may sound like, well, of course it does. So does everyone's. But I'm not sure if everyone's does as much as mine. I don't know. I'm not in other people's bodies. I don't know what they're feeling. But I've just realized how much that holds me back, and how when it comes to physical comfort and not experiencing pain, I will just I will I will just ruin myself, because I won't do the things that I need to do in order to be better physically, mentally, spiritually, everything, because I'd rather stay comfortable, because my body craves comfort and hates pain and discomfort. So discipline for me, then 2 things coming up. One is focus. What are you focused on? Because I'm often focused on rubbish, things I can't control, things that don't add anything to my life, wasting time scrolling on social media, wandering around doing nothing, whatever it is. I'm focused on junk as opposed to focusing on what I actually want to create, my own goals, my own visions, my own choices. And then secondly, about discipline, is the ability to discipline yourself to go through pain so that you can grow and reach the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, because pain is going to be inevitable. I don't know if you ever heard this story about, this thing was going around about, this guy explained lobster. So as the lobster grows, its shell gets tighter because it's growing within the shell, but the shell obviously can't expand. So then it hurts because the lobster's growing, but the shell stays the same size. So then the lobster has to come out and find a new shell or make a new shell. I can't remember how they work for lobsters. I think they make the shells, and then they grow a little bit more, and then again now they're pushing the size of the shell, so it hurts again. So now they've got to go. So it's pain and growth. Unfortunately, it just tends to happen. Tension, pain, whatever we call it. There's going to be some of it. So for me, discipline is, can you hang out with that, particularly in the physical sense? Because my body wants to have a nap, wants to be cozy, wants to eat that cake or whatever, or those crisps, and wants to be like, oh, chill out and don't do anything too difficult. That is death. That is death of dreams, death of growth, death of what I really want to be and live and who I am, death of the physical body, because it's not good for you to live like that. And so comfort is death. And discipline is, can I feel the pain of change and have the will? So that those 2 things come up for me majorly when it comes to discipline. And what I'm realizing right now is I've probably mastered that about 10%. Maybe 20% if I'm being nice to myself. But I actually am really not very disciplined at all. And I think I've just realized that in a way that I wasn't quite aware of. So for me, that's big. So that.
There's a lot. There's a lot. I just want to start by saying, even if you've mastered it 20%, you're way ahead of the game, because discipline is not easy. And for me,
I feel like because you gym and stuff and you work out, right?
but see, that's the thing, right? It's a perception, because if you ask me, I'd say, Pinky is so much more disciplined than I am. And Pinky's like,
I think you're more disciplined because you'll go running and stuff.
Well, I haven't in a long time.
I haven't in my
since
life.
But I wish you could see it all here. No, I'm kidding. But I was disciplined, and I still do love going to the gym. And, I'm kind of back on track now that everything's starting to open up again, whatever. But then I got sick. So there's that. For me, discipline kind of really came into my life. I mean, it's always been there since I was a kid, I guess, but that was a different type of discipline, but self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
Whatever it was, right? The self-discipline wasn't there, which I didn't realize as self-discipline, but I called it self-control, right? I always say zero self-control when it came to drinking, when it came to other, extracurricular activities. I had zero self-control. It was like, I'll go out for, a pint or two. Next thing later, Rita was always the one standing out, like last one standing. And it's like, everyone's got home. Don't you have to work tomorrow? Yes, I do. And then just realizing like the torture that I was putting my body through. In a way, I was putting it through a lot of pain, but not the kind we talked about. But when I started my yoga and stuff, I thought, okay, I'm going to be really disciplined. And I'll just tell you a really quick story. Is when I started my yoga in this ashram in India, I was never a morning person. I was always, my mom would always wake me up in the morning. And in order to wake up, I still have 7 alarms. And I think that's more of a comfort thing that I need to get off of, because I'm usually up by the first one, sometimes a backup second one. But that's only because I know it's there. I'm like, I'll just wait for the next one,
Yeah.
But I went there, and I was there with my friend, with Monica. And the first morning, like I got there, and I remember I had my, I got there, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm tired. I've been traveling. Like, it doesn't really start tomorrow. So I'll take my time to kind of get into this. And eventually I'll start waking up by like down the road in a few days, I'll start waking up at 6, because we had to be downstairs at 7:00 to start our yoga practice. Next, I think we stayed up that night talking till maybe 1, 2 o'clock even. I set my alarm for 6:45. She goes, I'll wake you, Monica. I go, make sure you wake me up. Like, don't forget to wake me up. Sleeping in the bed beside me. I got up. It was 6:05 or something. I was like, I'm up. Like, there was just nothing in my body that was like, go back to sleep. I was there for 29 days. For 29 days, I was the first one up.
Wow.
I'd say out of 29, about 27 of the days, not including our teacher. And I'm not exaggerating. 20. I told my mom, and she was like, what? I would go downstairs, and I'm not like religious into the prayer stuff, but we lit the lamp, and whatever it symbolized for me at the time. And I was the first one up, showered, made tea downstairs, ready to go, lit the lamp, and was just waiting. And I surprised myself. Like, I was like, where did this come from? And ever since then, there's always been a little bit of, like, I started waking up earlier, and I started, like, Monica got me into the discipline of making my bed, little things that also make you feel better as your day goes on, right? It's like, oh, I've had a crappy day, but you forget, because you're like, oh, at least I made my bed, or at least, I've prepared this or done this. But then I still had no self-control after that. So for me, I guess everything you're saying is bang on with focus, right? Focus. The last 2 days, what's really come up for me is focus, and then just really setting that intention, because everything you do with intention, and it's like something I mentioned to you is just even about my teaching, where I was so sick yesterday, and I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to teach my classes, which I could have canceled, right? And I had a sick note. I wouldn't be penalized, but I was like, no, this is a commitment I've made. I'm not dying. I just have a runny nose, right? And that was my discipline. And I've been able to, like, I haven't quit drinking, but I've cut down my drinking significantly. But what I've realized is these aren't things. It's that effect, that boomerang effect of like of resistance, right? The rubber band effect of resistance, where it's like anything I've gone and been like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stop doing it, and I'm going to give it up. Hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Every time I've let go of it and gone, all right, this is what I need to do. It just happens. It just happens automatically, and maybe there's a science
So
behind that.
when you say like if I let go of it, so let's take the drinking as an example, if you're okay with that, or if there's another one.
Yeah, no, let's
but
stop with the drinking.
So you didn't say I've got to stop drinking. It's bad for me. I want to drink less. There was none of that, and because we know that all that does is reinforce the issue because of how it works psychologically.
And that was there. Like every time
Yeah.
I wake up the next morning with a hangover, I'm like, oh, this
Gotta
sucks.
stop. There's got yeah.
Stops.
But then something changed whereby you managed to do it from some kind of different state of consciousness. So what exactly, was there anything in particular that you did or thought or experienced or a trigger in your life? Did you change anything consciously, or can you reflect on that now and see how it panned out and how you got to a point where you reduced your drinking? What happened there? I want to know what happened.
I just want to say you ate the H of the happened. You said happened.
Oh, happened. Oh no, happened. I'm being very British. Oh, what not happened? British, innit? I'm British.
What happened was, and I have reflected on it, because another thing I never used to do was reflect on anything, because I was afraid of facing it, and I didn't want to know what happened. I just went, oh, I'll just go on. I reflected, and there was no, like, I remember January 17th, I woke up and I had a terrible hangover, like just head pounding. I missed my class in the morning. I didn't wake up for class on time. I ended up canceling 2 of my other classes. And just, like my partner was kind of like, he was like, was it really worth it? And I go, no. And he had never had, like, I never had a problem with drinking per se, as in like, I probably did. To a certain extent, I did. I drank a lot. I drank almost every night of the week, glass of wine, even if it was little. But it was never an issue in our relationship, or it never caused, that kind of problem. So he never was like, you need to stop drinking, or you need to cut down drinking. It was never like that. But, there was a bit of a disappointment in him too. More like he created a disappointment in myself, because I was like, I have these kids, and these parents like come to me as like I'm their go-to, and I'm like, sorry, I had to have a couple drinks and then can't show up for teaching your kid. No. And it was just more of a self-realization of like, no, you're better than that. They deserve better than that, and you're better than that. And it was just it came from my soul, and it came from.
And you had a higher vision. A higher vision came in place, didn't it?
My focus changed.
Went to something higher, more powerful.
My focus from feeling like crap and giving up drinking to giving up drinking because drinking isn't good for me changed to. I remember asking myself, I feel like a glass of wine, and then going, but like, I gotta wake up tomorrow. I have class at 5. Where's my focus literally was not feeling like crap in the morning and being able to teach my kids for 7-8 hours straight.
Yeah.
My focus entirely changed.
Yeah.
And it's still that. Like, there's been a couple of days in the past where I like gone out and had like 4 or 5 drinks, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah.
But I had no focus when I was doing that. I didn't have something that was more important.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So my focus of importance.
Are you finding yourself that you still? So is it every time you felt the pang of like, oh, glass of this, glass of that, you had to refocus, and then the next time you do it again, you do it again. Did it get easier over time?
100% got easier over time. It got so much easier over time, whereas I can now be like, and it was discipline, right, in itself, because there was times where I was like, oh, Sunday, I want to have a cooler while I'm cooking. It's just a habit. I always had a drink when I cooked. You create these habits, these conditions, right? And so it was my condition of cooking is like, I had to have a drink in my hand. But like for your birthday, I had a little glass in like one of those mini bottles of like those little wines, sparkling wines.
Huh.
And I was feeling like it, and I was like, oh, I'm making some pasta, I'm making lasagna, I have a little glass of wine. But that was it. I didn't even finish it. I didn't end up finishing it because I was like, all right, it's late. I'm going to be eating. Like all these things now that have factored into how I'm feeling and clarity. Because a lot of it was, I was so unclear about things. And when I stopped drinking, I saw this higher vision of myself, of where I could be and what I'm capable of and what I can do with my mind and my soul and my body, and that higher connection. That's not there when you're doing anything that takes your power away from doing that, right? So for me, that was a big thing. And I think I just said something there that might help me, maybe you, is the focus. We're saying the focus and hanging with attention was a big thing for you. Discipline's been there for me too, right? If I went, I've got this and I've got this and I've got this and I've all these ideas that we've been blessed and cursed with as creators. If I just took one and focused my attention again on what I wanted to create versus how and what and where and why and job and this and that, changing to that higher level of how I'm feeling while I'm doing it will maybe just really help realign that focus and discipline, and it comes naturally to like doing our choices and setting that intention.
If you're up for it, I'd love for you to just help me with my focus, and there may be a tool or a circle to use, but I can look at that in a moment and we can just see if it. But I would really like some help with it because I've lost my focus. I had a couple of weeks off, which was amazing. Like I needed that. And then I had a third week where I was like, I'm going to ease myself back in, right? Because I don't want to get into the same habits that I had before, which is struggling, hard work, burnout, mess. Can't do that. But now it's like, I think I'm on like week 4 and I'm like, oh, I'm still really easing myself back in. Basically, I'm doing nothing now. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got to take action, and I do want to take action, but I want to take it slower. But it's that ability to focus, like, I've got work to do. There are things I want to do. There are things I want to create. And I think already, like you're saying, I'm probably, because I am working on my choices again anyway, and maybe because I've not been doing them, so I haven't got that pulling me, which is why I'm not focused, because I'm all over the place, because I don't have the higher vision pulling me. So that may have actually already answered the question. And maybe that's going to rectify. But then there's still also the question of, I do have some choices already set and clear. Why am I not doing them? Why am I not focusing on them? So there may be something there, because whilst we live in a magical universe, stuff doesn't happen by magic, in the sense that you just sit on your bum and then then it all comes. You have to act.
Literally what I said yesterday,
you have
right?
to choose. Yeah, you have to choose and act. And I'm not choosing or acting right now in the majority of things, and that's frustrating me, because I'm like, I want to get back into my work, but I'm being really lazy. So so there's definitely nothing there. I want to talk. You were saying so many things there that I've just found really interesting about, because to me, to move through an addiction, particularly a physical addiction, particularly an addiction that is very strong, as many of the things that are, that's like so powerful. Like, to be able to do that is so powerful. So I just think there's a lot that everyone can learn from that about discipline. But this is it, like the key thing, like you're saying, and this is what we learn in this work, and I think I'm very much still learning to put into practice, and will be forever, is it's not about fighting the thing you don't want. It's about having a higher vision, having a higher calling. And then, like you say, bless you, about to sneeze. Yeah, the sneeze eye. You know when you get sneeze eye? Bless you. And again. You totally did sneeze eye. It was just one. I was like, it's coming. It's like, one's coming.
This is why I know it's not COVID,
bless
because
you.
it's just been sneezing and runny nose. So thanks. I actually like sneezing because it actually helps unclog my nose for a little while. So it's perfect.
Yeah, it's good. Jimmy's got a comment. Jimmy, I might need you to clarify. Is this about me, or is this So what's obvious about the fact that I'm not focusing? What's obvious to me is there's a fear of being overwhelmed again. I guess that does make sense. And actually, yeah, I think you're right. I am worried about that because and this is one of my dysfunctions, is I can't remember where this came so much more clearly to me a while back. I started to see it. And it was, I don't know if it was in a video or something. I create my own overwhelm to prove to myself that I can't handle it. So then I drop everything afterwards and then I don't progress. And then I create more overwhelm and go, see, it's too much for you. You can't do this. So then I drop it and then I don't do anything. And then I'm like, oh, but I got to do something. So then I create more overwhelm. So I think you're right, Joe. I think there's a cycle that I'm in.
Have you done,
Very
have you done, what is it called? Like a structured deconstruction or like
conflict deconstruction?
No, like an actual like actually playing out your pattern.
Oh, the DATs, dysfunctional behaviors and attitudes.
Have you done that?
I haven't done it like he did in training because I don't know how to do it. Like he's like, to do that properly is a really
we can do that. It would probably take, we'll spend a couple hours, but again, we can do one and then maybe you can do another situation, but we take at least 2 or 3 situations and do that. And it really helps you see. So basically,
I don't think we can do it in the way that he does it because that's a really, really long-winded to do it properly. But we can definitely do this one.
Not on live, but I mean, we could do it separately too. But essentially what that is taking your situation and the outcome, which is kind of resulting to pretty much situations where you've had similar outcomes, which is overworking and then taking a break or needing a break, overworking and needing a break. I can probably tell you 5 situations where that's happened to you. So I'm sure you could come up with more, right?
Yeah.
And then just see the pattern that's led up to it. And if we then look at it backwards, you'll see so clearly what that is. And I think you're aware of most of it, but I think that will really help maybe see things that you might be missing.
Yeah. And I think right now I'm in a bit of a transition period where I'm like, I know that hasn't been working, but I'm about to fall into the cycle again of like, well, I overwhelmed myself, so now I'm going to rest, and now I'm going to slowly start ramping up to overwhelm again. So I'm just slowly going that way. But because of this conversation and gym and everyone and like what we're talking about is really helping me see that cycle. So I'm in a very important position right now where I can change that. And I guess really then that comes out to using all this work. It's not about fixing that, right? I don't want to fix myself. I'm not broken. But what is my higher vision? And it's not that I love working on things I love. I love working hard. I have no problem. And hard, I mean, like I put effort in. I really enjoy that. So it's not like I just want to sit around and do nothing. But I need to get clear on what my vision really is for that. What's my end result? What am I actually trying to create in terms of my working practices and how it feels?
Okay, see, right? I'm going to stop you.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying right now is exactly the conversation we had, which is me going, I don't know what I need. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have all these things and I don't know what it is, right? And that's an ego thing, like you said. And it's exactly that, because when you did your choices and when you did your last coaching session and whatever came out of it, and the true vision for what Pinky wants. And again, you have to remember, there isn't just one. Your vision is going to change. Your vision isn't far-fetched. And now that you know that your vision is even closer than we were, kind of going with. So your vision is, this is what I want. It could be tomorrow. It could be, and I think what I got from you telling me that alone is intention, daily intentions of one task. Yeah. What is your intention? And even if you made it task-based, but from your soul, what is your intention for the day? If we set an intention to eat, to work, to whatever, to doing something the right way, we've seen the magic of that itself, because it flows out. And more, not just, not just William, but Eckhart Tolle and so many other people have talked about waking up. And the first thing you do in the morning is just being grateful and setting an intent for your day, or setting, just saying, all right, today my day is going to be this, setting an emotion or or something, but it essentially narrows down to setting an intention.
And I think that's what the whole point of doing choices is, right? And doing them daily is because every day you're telling your mind what to focus on. And you're telling your mind to focus on this higher vision, this higher choice, this higher priority, so that the lower dysfunctional little gremlins that are our ego don't take the show and don't have us driven off in these dysfunctional ways. And maybe that's exactly why I've ended up where I've ended up, because the truth is, as much as I'm scared to admit this, because many people may watch this, may be like, oh my God, she didn't do her choices. I didn't do my choices for a long time. I wasn't doing them for probably 6 weeks or so at least. I was not actively doing my choices on a daily basis. I was not spending my time focusing on them, doing a visualization, doing a bridging. I wasn't doing it. And I've not, there are a number of reasons why. That has started to come clear because I'm now redoing them, and then becoming much more powerful and much more energy gramming and much more authentic. And so in terms of like where I'm at now and what my vision is, so that may help. But I think, like you said, I wasn't doing them, so I wasn't focused. Every day I did not have the thing every day that told me what are you focused on, what are you focused on, what are you focused on, what are you focused on. And so the ego takes hold. And what does the ego do? Focus on everything, do everything. Oh God, there's so much to do. Oh my God, overwhelm. Oh shit, now you're screwed. Have a rest, don't do anything. Oh, now you're just gonna have to stay still, not do anything for ages. And oh no, but you gotta do something, so start doing something. And oh, now you're and it's just like, that's my life, and it's so annoying.
And you pointed this out too, right? Like with people, you know, like us, and not to sound absolutely full of myself, but in a good and bad way. Like there's so many ideas flowing in our mind. Like literally, we're just like idea after, wake up, breathe, idea, sleep, idea, eat, idea, shower, idea, right? And it's like a lot of that. And then your ego goes, yes, you can do them all. You got to do them all.
Yeah.
And then you're like, but like, that's first of all, not even freaking realistic, because it's not.
Yeah.
Not to say that you won't do them all, but you have to, again, the whole thing of what we're learning, divine timing, you know, trust in the signs. What is your intuition telling you to do now? What is it telling you to do now? So if there's disciplining yourself might mean not just how do you focus, is, for me, it was finding something to focus on, which was my teaching, right? Being there for my kids. I'm now teaching 7 days a week, and I haven't taken a break, and I haven't felt burnt out. Not once have I been like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm teaching day and night. February, I was teaching morning and night. I gained 20 pounds. Like, my body went into shock. Right now, I'm doing the exact same thing, if not more. Like, I'm doing way more. And sorry, not February. Most of January towards the beginning of February, because that's when China has their New Year, their winter holidays. I was doing the exact same thing as I'm doing in the summer holidays, but I'm teaching more now. And it's like, what changed? I'm not doing teaching, and my focus is my kids, and I'm enjoying it. And my focus is that end result of what I'm creating with my kids and where I want it to be, right? So, and I do that every day. I have to do it almost every day on a nightly basis before I go to bed, and be like, all right, I look at who I'm teaching tomorrow, and they're sometimes like, oh, I have that student. I'm sorry, guys. They can't watch this.
I was going to say, they're going to watch it.
They can't. They don't have YouTube.
Oh, yeah, they don't have YouTube, yeah.
My Hong Kong kids will, but
yeah.
But it is that, like, oh, okay, right. Give yourself the time, and whether it's a meeting or a presentation or something that you have to do, hopefully there isn't a lot of stuff that you're dreading, right?
No.
There might be some part of work that comes, though.
But this is a funny thing. All the stuff on my list, I'm so lucky that I get to do that. Like, I love it. I've got training programs to put together for a client. I've got a little video that I'm doing with a client soon. And I've already got a synopsis for that, but I need to just, like, you know, do the slides and things. I'm doing my branding. I'm doing my own choices and there is nothing here that I don't like doing. I actually love it. This is my life. Yet I'm being lazy. And I think, like you say, it's because I'm not focused. I just let my day go how it wants to go, where it wants to go. And then that means ego does it. And ego sends me a nonsense. What was that question?
I said, you have to give creativity. Didn't we talk about this? Creativity needs time to build and manifest, right? And grow. And so all these choices that we have that we're like, oh, how is this even like attached to this choice? Or, you know, how does this vision tie into this goal or whatever you want to call it that we want to do? Well, it does, because when you start with one thing and the momentum starts going, you don't know. And we've seen it firsthand. You've experienced it firsthand, like going to bed at night going, oh, I don't know where this is going to come from. And like, boom, all these stories of like, you know, I was broke, not you, but like, you know, I was broke and I didn't know how I was going to pay for rent like in 3 days. And next thing you know, like money shows up, or, you know, because you're not going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I got to find a job. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You're like, you're there and you're going, this is the situation. Same way, if you don't just pick one thing and you're going, but I can do this and 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 I can do this. And you're continually just doing. Again, it comes down to just doing. If you don't be, then nothing is, you're creating everything. So everything you're creating, even though you get the ball rolling somewhere, you go, but now I can do this. And so you stopped it. You stopped the momentum of what you created. So you're your own stop.
Yeah, I think that's what's frustrating me now as well, is I feel like I had really good momentum, but now I have lost it a bit, and it's like, oh, gotta rev it back up again. Jim's just given a couple of options here, which I think would be very interesting. So the self-mastery method may be helpful for me. I like that, actually. So this is understanding that you create it, right? So my whole dysfunction of going in this cycle of overwhelm and creating it by myself to screw myself is my egoic functioning. It's got to pay off. It's creating it very purposely. And this is really about looking at that and saying, well, what is that all about, essentially, and what does my higher self want? So that could be very good. Thank you, Jimmy, for that thought. And then doing the DATS. Yeah, so the DATS focuses on the problem. Self-mastery refocuses. Yeah, so DATS was really good for, so this was about identifying all your dysfunctions and basically saying, so there's many things that we do, thoughts, feelings, behaviors, attitudes, and so on in our daily lives that are dysfunctional and are working against us in terms of actually us being in our higher selves. And the DATS process is really helps you identify what those are. And I did it once a long time ago. But it might be worth doing that again, actually, and just just reminding myself what my dysfunctions are. And then, like you say, Jim, that just tells you what they are. But the answer for that really then is, well, here's all your dysfunctions, just stop doing them. Whereas self-mastery is a little bit more deeper, right, about understanding what your ego is doing and why and what the payoff is, and also about then choosing your higher state. And I think, I mean, I think for me, where I'm at the moment is, like you're saying, it needs time. You know, that's another thing I'm learning, is that in the space I have given myself finally, actually a lot of good stuff has come up. Ideas, all the other bits and bobs I was doing are starting to come together into something in a way that I couldn't have orchestrated by myself. And I'm starting to see that happen. I'm getting more clarity about things because I've actually given myself space to allow wisdom to be received rather than me trying to figure it all out and getting in the way. And I'm working on my choices again and getting them right. So I think that hopefully this will shift. But I don't want to stay trapped in that cycle that, like, we've obviously identified that I do, which is screw yourself by overwhelm and then have a rest and then don't do anything, and then screw yourself by overwhelm and then I don't want to do that anymore.
It's because every time you come out of that rest, except for this time has been different, is that just kind of based on my experience with you, is every time you come out of that rest, it's like, okay, I feel good, I feel rested for like a day, and then it's like, crap, now I gotta make up lost time. Right? And you're in this like power charge to like make up time you've lost. Whereas I think this time you realize that it wasn't lost time, it was actual recovery time.
And it was actually functional time because stuff was happening in the energy.
But that's that being, right? If you don't stop to be, like, so let's say you take your focus and you put it in something and you go, okay, focus on this. But if you don't stop to let that creation simmer and manifest itself, right? It's like we take a video and we post it online. We're like, oh, no views. Oh, nothing's happened. Oh, nothing's come of it.
Go and give it time.
Leave it. Put it out there and leave. So it's that even my yoga. I think back to him all the time. My Guruji used to say, let it go, right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're meditating at the biggest thing ever, I just had to put out there and share. 28 days. I did a February course, 28-day yoga training course. Meditated every day 3 times a day, right? We had to do meditation practice because we were learning that as well as part of the yoga, which was amazing. I don't know, do the math, 3 times 28, whatever. Jimmy, what is that? And then basically, right? So what, almost like what, 82, 80, what is that? Anyway, 80 something times a day or in total. Literally, I fell asleep about 76 of those times during meditation. No, really. And we had to write a journal, and I've just found my journals again. Why? Because I got so relaxed. Whatever. I didn't know how to meditate. Everyone says, I don't know how to meditate, right? And the biggest thing was fighting and resisting my thoughts instead of all my Guruji kept saying is just accept it, be the observer, and then let it go. And another one's gonna come, because pretty much with every breath you inhale, you get a thought, and it's like clockwork. And then different techniques. We tried. We didn't do the same technique every time. It was a different one, and it was like finally the day before we graduated. Again, it's that like something in my learning and my behavior went, all right, this is it. It's do or die. Like you're not going to get a yogic name. Like it's not going to happen for you. So just do it. But I set an intention going into that meditation to meditate.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it's going to happen. And I couldn't make it happen. If I couldn't make it happen for freaking 70 times, I couldn't magically make it happen. But what I did differently, and I literally am seeing this now, and I haven't thought, like, I knew I went in with fear and stuff, but it wasn't fear. I didn't go in with fear. I went, it's the last day.
You went in
like,
with focus.
The worst that could happen now? I went in with focus, and I went in with an intention. And my intention was to meditate. My intention, my vision was to have my yogic name. That's what it was.
That's it. You wanted it. You wanted it bad.
I wanted my yogic name.
So you were gonna meditate. Yeah.
Right? And I wasn't
love
like,
that.
how am I gonna meditate? How am I gonna do anything? Pinky, I kid not. Even Monica knows to this day, because she like people used to come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you're so lucky you fell asleep. That meditation sucked," or whatever. If they didn't like something, right? Because there was ones we did that didn't work for everybody, and different ones work for different people. But every meditation can work for me if I just set my intention for that end result. Like, and it's not even like I want my end result to meditate. That's not it.
No, it's not.
You have to remember your end result.
Yeah.
Yes, your end result is I want a question answered. I want clarity. I want peace of mind. And I'm more as coming as I'm saying this is like my end result was wanting my yogic name, which I got, which was Shakti, which means energy. Can you tell? And Monica already knew what my name was going to be. Actually, she told it to me. I told you this when I came out. It was weird. Not, but
nothing's weird now. We know.
Yeah. Even then, it wasn't weird because things happened at the ashram which we were like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. You had to be there. But yeah, it was focusing on, and that doesn't mean that that wasn't my end result of life and everything, right? In that moment, I was training to be a yoga teacher. I wasn't even like, I want to start my own studio when I go back. I want this out of this. My intention was, maybe I'm not saying to make your vision smaller, but maybe from your larger vision, if you have smaller intentions for the day, for the week, that will maybe help you refocus. Because I just know that I'm going to use that, and that's going to help me refocus for sure.
So I think that this takes us nicely to lesson of the session. I think let's do some lessons and closing, and then if you're up for staying on for a little bit longer and doing some cards, I'd be well up for that.
I got nowhere to go. I'm just going to be blowing my nose a little bit more.
That's all good. So lesson of the session. I think that the lesson of the session for me is, I'm going to write this down because I really want it to go in my head, because it's really something that is hitting but needs to hit more, is discipline is about focus and particularly focus on a higher vision. I mean, these are like 10 lessons in one, but I'm going to say it anyway. And therefore, for me, having daily intentions and choices, which is something I stopped doing. And I think that's why I derailed so much as I did. So for me, discipline it's not a bad thing. Often we use that word in a very negative way, but discipline is key. Discipline and structure, I think those are very, very much aligned and important. And discipline, I think, is really, really important. And so for me, then what's coming through discipline is about focus. It's about focus on a higher vision, not trying to fix the thing you're trying to get away from, and having that focus every single day through choices and intentions and putting your mind to it and really saying it to yourself in your mind. And as I look at this is like, didn't I just do like 150 hours of training in the last 12 months that says exactly this? And I'm saying it now like I've just learned something so new. But it's that thing of like, as you go through life, lessons get a bit deeper, right? And you hear it again and you're like, oh, I've just learned it on a deeper level. So absolutely everything we've been training in alchemy is these things, but today it's just I'm learning it again. I don't know if you've heard of that thing, right, where how we grow in spirals. So you're going in a spiral and you are getting higher, but you keep coming back round to the same spot. So you have the same lesson recurs again and again, but now you're a little bit higher up in your journey, so you may see it differently, do something differently. So I feel like this is me
I like
doing that.
that.
I'm like, yeah, it's really good, and I think it's so true, man.
I like that. I
And
have that. I
so
have. It makes sense with the
it's
path. Actually, makes sense with the path, the Buddhist path to enlightenment. It's a winding. I have the tattoo here. You can't really see it, but it's a winding road. It's a little differently done, but there's a path in the middle that crosses over the same.
yeah. I think it's very, very true. And the more I reflect on life, I think that's what's going on for me anyway. And I think it's true is that come back round. And so for me, I learned over the last year through all the trainings that it is about what you're focused on. It's about focusing on the higher, not trying to fix problems, and it's about having clear intentions and making those intentions and those choices. So I learned all of that. But today I've come back round and I'm up on the next level of it, and I'm learning the same thing but on a deeper level and on a more like in my daily life now I'm seeing I'm integrating it more. Yeah, exactly. I can apply it. I can applicate it in a way
Applicate
is
it
what I was
for
about to
sure.
say.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm going to
know.
applicate
Do
it.
it.
So
Definitely
that was not
applicate.
really one lesson of the session. There was many lessons of the session, but those are mine. What would you say is your lesson of the session, Ree?
Honestly, it was just everything that I was saying just came from my higher self, more for me as well, not just for you. Like it's that setting intentions and just before I get into the actual lesson of the session, it was before when I did my choices, and I think you maybe felt this too, is there was this resistance to it. And it's like, why was there a resistance to do it? Why did I have to set aside the time? Why did I have to make it a thing to do it? And it was just to try to get into the discipline of it, right? Because I wasn't used to it. That's like someone saying, you must meditate every day. And it's like, sure, but now you've said it, and like the
No, I
rebellious
don't want to
part of
do
my
it.
beliefs and values is like,
Screw you.
no.
That's
And
so true.
that comes from our personality, right? That comes from like you going, our parents going, you must be home by 11. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to come home at 11:05 just and stand outside for an extra 3 minutes just so I can be like, he wasn't home at 11,
Yeah.
But that part, so my lesson of the session is just seeing that every time I gave up something, and some big things, some very big things I've given up and changed overnight without even like doing anything. It was because my intention wasn't to give up that thing. That thing happened as a process.
Yeah.
Wow. So my lesson of the session is what you think you want from your ego is actually the process of achieving it. So hang on. What you think you want when it's coming from your ego actually ends up being something that's achieved in the process of achieving a higher vision. So your higher vision, so whatever thing that I'm resisting, whatever thing that I really just say, I want to lose weight and I want to do this and I want to do this. It's like, what's my higher vision for that overall state of being? And if that's my vision, then in the process of it, I will lose the weight. In the process of it, I will give up smoking. In the process of it, I will do my choices every night before going to bed, as opposed to you must do your choices because you need to get to your higher vision.
Exactly.
But it's seeing the higher vision, and that's it. That's literally it. Focus on what your higher vision is.
Yeah.
Every day, every second of the day, every moment of the day, every time you're aware, just go, what's my vision? And just step into that vision for a second, 2 seconds, 10 minutes. Every time in your mind, you're listening to some music, you're listening to someone talk, go, what's my vision? What for whatever the case
What am I
is.
creating?
What am I
Yeah.
creating? In the process, and because I know that if I say I got to do my choices every day, already I'm like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, it's heavy. That's a chore.
Yeah.
You don't want a chore. Being in your higher vision is daydreaming. It's dreaming. It's being in a happy place. It's not a chore.
It's funny what you said there about like in the moment, what's your vision? Because this is what I experienced earlier, what I started talking about earlier. I don't think I actually finished the story about the shower thing. Like, I hate being cold. I'm the worst. I can't hack it. I'm such a wimp. Yet this morning, I didn't fully do it. Like, I went a bit colder, a bit colder, a bit cold. I didn't go like total cold. I went about 70% cold, but I'm working my way up to it. I'm getting there. But here's the interesting thing that really resonated with what you were saying that I don't think I've ever experienced before in that particular context is that I was so determined to experience mastery over my own pain that I could go through the pain. So it's almost like I was feeling the cold. I was like, oh, and that whole part of me was like, get away from the cold, get away from the cold. And then there was another part of me is like, you got to stay in the cold, you got to stay in the cold because you got to. But it was another level of vision that said, oh, wow, how exciting would it be to master this right now? And that was what it felt like. It was exciting. It was exciting to be like, oh, my God, I can do this thing that I never thought I could ever do.
Bet you any money the second your ego stepped in and went, okay, this is really cold. And then you went, yeah, this is really cold. And then you shut it off.
Well, I managed it for a bit, but maybe that's why I didn't go fully cold because when I did for a second, when you can't breathe, that kind of cold.
1 second.
Do you remember? Do you remember the? I talked about this in my video I made on this earlier, which I'll post on Facebook a bit. But do you remember in the spa in Banff, the cold plunge pool, and the guys were like chucking each other in, and you went in it fully? I think I went in it like
I've
half
done
a
it a few
leg.
times.
I don't think I went in fully, but it was cold, man. I remember that. It was so cold. And it just reminded me of that, right? Like, so the water in the shower, I did for a second, I went full cold and I couldn't. My body was so strong. The reaction, the compulsion to be like, get out, get out. So my body moved before my mind could try and harness it back in and rein it back in. And that's what excited me about doing this process is like, oh, I'm going to learn to start to actually master myself on a whole nother level. Because when that pain's hitting and that tension, oh, can I say no? I'm doing this because it's really exciting. And that's the thing. It wasn't, no, I'm fighting my body. It was, oh, how exciting does it feel to realize how much power I have that I can actually do this thing that I never thought I'd be able to do because I'm such a wimp when it comes to cold and pain. And it was that feeling of excitement that kept me in there, even when it wasn't freezing, but it was cold for longer than I thought I'd ever be able to do. And that's that tiny little subtle difference that is still sinking in for me is that was what I did. I was excited about being able to master my own self. And that's what kept me doing the thing that I wanted to run away from. So I'm hoping that's going to help me do it tomorrow. And I'm thinking that has so many applications. It really just reiterates what you said earlier and what I said about my lessons. I somehow had a higher vision, but I didn't do it consciously. I'm just realizing now as well, like, oh yeah, I was really excited about this. I wasn't like, oh my God, it's so cold. I don't want to do it. Oh, I've got to do it though. It wasn't that. It's like, oh, this is so exciting.
But
I'm going to see if I can do it. Can I do it? Can I do it?
there's a bit more to what you said, and I know we said we were ending, but I have to. It's probably going to be a few more minutes. So let's just. What you said was, the higher vision and stuff. But think about everything else that that didn't exist for this to happen. All the conditions that didn't exist. All the there wasn't it was just a spur of the moment. You wanted to try it. No one was judging you on it. No one was gonna hold you to it. You didn't say I'm gonna have to do it for 30 seconds. You didn't put any limitations on yourself. You didn't put any expectations. There's no expectations. Zero. That's the big thing.
There was one person who helped me want to do it, but there was no energy there, and I've got to do it for him. It wasn't like that at all. But yeah, no, you're right in that sense. Like there was no conditions or I have to do it. I didn't need to prepare myself to do it. I didn't need to be ready or good enough to do it. I just was like, I'm just gonna fucking do it. Just gonna do it.
And it kind of brings me back to to athletes, right? And maybe I think what we're doing is a little different or very different from that, but at the same time it's so similar. So
same thing, man.
So for example, athletes who all they're seeing is they want to be the best. They want to, I guess it's coming from a competitive side of it, but that's their vision. That's their goal. That's all they want. Right? And they do the work for it because when they're training and they get a sprain, they're not like, oh, my sprain, they're like, okay, what, I need to win the gold. I need to win the gold. So I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do better. My energy is better. Whereas if they went, oh, my leg, it would change the way they felt. It would change the recovery time. It would change. It would change, the fear of maybe jumping over the next hurdle, right? Like PTSD is a thing because of that, because of things like this, because you're like, it just exists, right? And so when your vision is that with nothing else, you get there. And if not the first year, if not the second year, if not the third year, we've seen so many Olympians not win the gold the first time around, second time around, third time around. And the difference is we're more blessed because we can actually tap into our true vision, which might not be, based on competitiveness or based on sport or something we were conditioned into in our life, right? Music or sport or different things that, our parents put us into or whatever. But it can be based solely. This is based solely on my soul. Get it?
I get it.
But it's based solely on your soul and your true higher vision. And the key, I think, what you just pointed out is to really want it that effing bad. To realize that you want your vision that bad, that no matter what, that's what you want. So,
and it's non-negotiable. And I think what you're saying, sorry, finish what you're saying. And
I think for me, the challenge is what's my vision then, right? What's my real vision? But then, and we can maybe work on that. And that's a discussion for another time but once you've got your vision and your true vision by doing all the work that we've got the tools to get to your vision. Yeah. So once you get to that vision, don't question the vision. No. And that's the problem we start with is when we can't get to it, we find hardships and it's so difficult. And we're now putting conditions on our vision that our vision becomes blurry, to say the least, right?
Yeah. Or like what I did, I shrunk my vision because it was too big. So let me make it small and then,
And then everything else, it's momentum backwards too, right? It's a domino effect. It's going to change everything else. And then you're going, I feel incomplete. Well, you felt complete. And then you took something away and you're going to feel incomplete. That makes so much sense.
What you said there about athletics and stuff, I've been using a few examples from that because I think that they are Olympics as well. It's such a good time right now to see that and see the real epitome of self-mastery. To me, these people are the best to learn from because I think what you described there, I want to get the gold. And I think, I know we say, well, that's competitive, but that's not a bad thing in my view. I'm starting learning, for many of them, that's their dream. They want to be the best. They want to win on the stage, on their sport. Why not? Go for it. And so that's their vision. But they have that vision. And like you say, okay, they broke their leg or something. that's their current reality, and then because they've got the vision and the current reality, and then they move forward and they use all the tools that we're using, right? But maybe
It's just not in that
not
way.
consciously. Yeah. But it seems like they're very apt to doing that because they've got this higher vision pulling them forward. So, and then there's the difference between, oh, I broke my leg. That's your ego's way of looking at it. Whereas the objective current reality is, I broke my leg, but I want to get a gold. What's my next step to get there? And that's really just the simplicity of all of this, right? And like you say, you want what you want because you want it, and that's that. It's non-negotiable. And that's the true vision, and that's so important as part of pulling you forward. I think that's something that I've been learning recently, is I'd shrunk a lot of my visions. I'd made them small, I'd made them mediocre, I'd softened them without realizing, because I didn't believe I could have them. And so no wonder I'm lost and I'm not disciplined, because I'm not being pulled by the powerful energy of a true vision. You know, that line from Robert Fritz's book, the soul doesn't compromise. If they're saying, I want the gold and then I want to win the gold again and I want to win fucking go for it. You know, you're saying you want to be the best in the world at this, go for it. If that's your true heart's vision, not your, oh, I want to because I feel so incomplete that I need to be
because
number
my
one
mom
in order.
wants me to win. And
exactly.
Did you know the ones that are like, the parents are really like rooting for them,
Yeah. You think that's good? Yeah, there's a bit of that going on, right?
Yeah, but like a lot of them, from stories I've heard, that are like, my parents wanted me to do this, and my parents, they haven't succeeded as much as the ones who wanted it for themselves.
For their heart, exactly, because that's the power of the heart, the soul, the truth, the vision, and that's why we've always got to get that in place first.
You just touched on was visions, right? And so I think, just to break it down and go back to like what the lesson of the session for me is, and maybe even a lesson / tip would be for myself, is have your vision / visions, by doing the work, and however you decide you want to go into your soul, sit down, meditate, use tools. There's so many tools. Breathe, but calm your mind is the main focus of it, right? Calm your mind so you can hear your deeper your truth.
Yeah.
You got your visions, write them down. Create a vision board. Do whatever you need to, right? On your vision board, there isn't just one thing. Maybe there is. But chances are you've got a few visions. You're like me, you've got tons. And then on a daily or weekly basis, right? Do something. And it maybe one vision, is like far out, and you're like, I can't. Oh, this is the one I got to start working on. No, do something that just feels right. Like, stand there and go, today, I don't know, I'm just going to go, today I want to do this one. And today I'm going to make a video because I've been wanting to do this, and I'm going to do it. And then if that creates a momentum on something else for the next day, the next week, whatever, go with it. Don't stop and question, but what about the rest of my stuff? Don't do that, because the rest will come.
Exactly.
Because your higher self is doing everything else based on your vision already. So don't question it. Don't stop and question it. That's when we fall into the trap, the ego trap. I think that's a book.
Reminds me of one of the quotes, you're the chef, you're not the chef, you're the carrot peeler. And that's what we try and be the chef, right? I've got to know everything. I've got to fit it all together. It's got to make sense. I've got to know how it's all going to work. But you know what you need intuitively. You know what you need to know when you need to know it. And the chef is the universe, God, whatever you want to use the words. And the universe will just tell you, like you say, oh, what would you love to do right now? I'd love to make this video. I'd love to do that. I'd love to, this excites me. That, inspires me. And you just follow those little breadcrumbs and peel those little carrots. And that's part of discipline as well, right? I just remember one thing, just to close this, and then we can do some cards if you're still up for cards. It's not really, is it relevant? I don't know. I'm just going to say it because I just want to say it for myself, to remind myself of it, because it was so good. Is that William posted earlier, and it was it's something along the lines of, do what you love. Don't just do. It's not about just doing what you love. It's about doing it with love, like loving doing it. Because most people do what they love, and this is something I fall into a lot, but then they do it from fear. So I'm doing what I love. I'm teaching, I'm doing training, I've got clients, I'm working out proposals. I love that, but my energy I'm bringing to the table is a fear energy 80% of the time. What if it fails? What if it's not good enough? How do I get it right? How do I figure this out? How does that fit to this? And what's the time? And how long is this taking me? Why is it going so slowly? Why am I not getting enough likes? Why am I not... That's 90% of my freaking focus. You know, they say what you focus on is not what you think you focus on. Because I think I'm focusing on creating some content. No. All that other stuff is what I'm really focusing on. And so I'm actually acting from fear. And then, funnily enough, lo and behold, you don't necessarily get the results that you kind of wanted. So it's like, do what you love, but love doing it, I think, is a really important thing. So make sure you actually love what you're about to do. Don't do it from fear. And if it feels like fear, don't do it. Just don't do it. Which ain't easy, but.
And sorry, just one more thing on that. And tell me if this resonates at all, but we say like enjoy the journey, right? Like the journey, you've got your vision and you've got to enjoy the journey to it, because if the journey is no fun, then it's kind of a waste anyway. But also, don't get lost on the journey, and don't get lost in the process, because once we get into the process, we start overthinking process. It's just it's normal. It's the most normal part. Can you imagine going, I'm going to create something, and then not completely going, is it okay? Is this good enough? We literally go, we get so caught up in in that thing that we're creating for the bigger picture that we forget about the bigger picture. And now it's just that thing, that logo, that design, that color, that blog.
So true.
So enjoy the process, right? Enjoy the journey. But if you get lost in your journey, you're never going to reach your vision, right? If you take the wrong path on your journey that you're going down, you're lost.
Because you don't know where you're going. You got to have your GPS, right? Put into the end result.
Take a longer way, take a different way.
Yeah.
But your end result.
But you still got the end result.
Yeah, don't get on a fucking plane and fly off somewhere else, because
exactly
defeats the purpose of your GPS.
Exactly. And that really, like, the GPS is such a good example of all of what we've been talking about today. Is like, you got to have your vision clear. So you got to have destination. You got to have your current reality, which is where are you on the map right now in relation to your destination.
Current location.
And then, yeah, exactly. And then the action is, well, what turn do I take next? And do what you love doing. And what is it that you're inspired to do next? And that's the discipline as well of doing that. But yeah, I think I do like that analogy. And like you say, it's like sometimes you got to take a different turn. Oh, well, actually, the universe says turn left right now, and you're like, but why? There's a road right in front of me. How do you don't know that 5 minutes down that road is a roadblock, but the GPS knows that, which is why it's making you turn this way. And that doesn't make sense to you, but the universe knows, so you should follow it. And that process of getting there, that route, is not in your hands. That's in the hands of the GPS, which is the universe. You just need to say exactly. What's your role in setting up your GPS? You just need to know, where am I right now, which happens anyway by phone, and you need to know where you're going. The rest you say to universe, you do it. And it says turn left, you go, okay, go left. Stop here, go right here.
Everything we've learned. That's it.
That's it. Yeah. That's literally all we're doing. That's the whole of life.
I think the struggle really, even, for me, maybe for you a little bit, but definitely for me, is getting lost in that process. Like, I start creating a video, and then I'm like, when I start making my video, I know what I want. I know what I'm doing. I want a video on this. Then I start editing, and then post-editing, and pre-editing, and cutting, and color, and it's not right.
So you get to a roundabout, and you just go round and round and round and round, and then you're down a cul-de-sac taking a detour, and then you're like, let me go down this road and see what's down there, just because. And then
God forbid I get to a roundabout where I'm like, oh shit, we don't have these in North America. I don't even know how to do this.
How to use them.
I'm gonna stop. I'm in the middle. Okay, I'm in the wrong lane. Oh, sorry, I need to exit. Oh shit, this is my exit. Keep going.
Yeah, so funny. Literally, I really like that analogy. So if you're doing that. So what's my analogy of the GPS for what I've been doing? It's like, I'm trying to do the whole journey in one step, in 5 minutes. It might be an hour-long journey.
What's happening is you're running down the road. You're running down the road, and then you're like, ah, shit, I'm tired. And then you see a tree, and you take a nap. You're like that rabbit, right? And the rabbit and the tortoise. You take a nap, and then you get up, and you're like, oh shit. Okay.
Now I'm
Okay, that
late.
was
Gotta
nice.
run
That was
again.
nice. But energy. Okay, run.
Yeah.
And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, a boat. Ooh, let me take this boat. Where's it going?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really relaxing. Oh,
Yeah.
where was it going? And then it's just getting lost in the process and on the way
Yeah.
journey.
And I really like this little analogy. I just want to go
I
there a
know
bit
it's
more because
nice.
I
It's
feel like
nice.
it's got a lot to give us. It's got a lot
I'm
to
in
give
the
us right
forest right
now.
now. It's so good.
So okay, so I'm on my GPS and it's like there's where I want to get. And what's over and what am I doing right now? I also I stop and I think a lot. So I might be at a turning and it's kind of like I got the sound turned down on the voice because it's going turn left, turn left. I'm like, maybe not, mate. Maybe I just need to look at this corner for a bit longer. I just need to stand here and just keep looking left, looking right, looking left, looking right, and not fucking moving. And I'm not listening to the direction. So that's
No,
definitely something I do.
and what I'm seeing for you is when you come
Mm,
out of that nap from the tree,
yeah,
you look at and your GPS is like, I had asked you a while ago, would you like to continue or
yeah,
end navigation? And
yeah,
somehow it just ended. And you're like, oh, okay, got to put in destination. But this time you're putting in, instead of the same destination, a different destination. Or you're like, oh, that
yeah.
was too far. Let me go
I keep
closer.
stop, start, stop, start,
Stop,
stop,
start. Yeah.
change,
And you're
stop,
putting a new
start.
destination.
Yeah,
Like, so you're going in these different routes. And it's like, okay, this is not your destination. Okay, take a nap.
yeah,
Okay, take a rest. Okay, new
yeah,
destination. Take a rest.
yeah,
New destination.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
destination needs to stay the same.
yeah, yeah. It
You can
does.
have multiple, in like Google where you could put in multiple stops.
Yeah, yeah,
You could do
exactly.
that, right? Just add
Yeah,
to your destination, but don't take
yeah.
away from the one that's there.
No,
Oh,
exactly.
so add
Yeah.
like point B and C and D, and your journey might get longer, or
Mm.
some of them might get shorter because it's like, shorter routes that link to each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
But don't take away that main destination. And
Mm,
now what happens is, you let the universe do it, and the universal GPS, how it works is it
mm.
might take you to destination D before it takes you to A, even though you thought you
Exactly.
wanted to go to A first.
Exactly.
And if you take that wrong turn and you go, oh, but I just want to stop here and I'm just gonna like hang out,
Mm.
and then the universe is going, no, 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 no. Right now is the time for you to get to D. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to D. And the universe is like, well, you missed that boat, so let's go to B. And you're
Yes.
like, no, 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 I
Yes.
want to go to
Yes.
D.
And also, if you don't do it when you're told to do it and you do your own thing,
Boat's
now
gone.
you're further away from it, it's gone.
Yeah.
This has happened to me recently. There was something that I was so, and it's not to do with work, but it's to do with my own life and well being and enjoyment, that I was so clear that I needed to do like 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks ago. I kid you not. I was like, it came so clearly to me. I got so excited just by this vision of this thing that I was like, this is what I've got to do. And I didn't do it. And now I could still do this thing. So I'm trying to get myself to want to do it and be like, well, should I do this thing? I don't know why I'm talking about it like so cryptically, like it's
Yeah,
something
your
so
trip.
secret.
You
No,
were gonna
it's
go on your
not.
trip.
Basically, oh, wait, how did you know? Why am I
I
asking
just
how
know.
did you know? Because
I just
obviously you
know.
just know. You're in my brain, you're in
I
my
just know.
consciousness. Fucking
Don't you
hell.
just want to go away?
So
Yeah.
but this was it. Like ages ago, I was like, I want to go. And it came so clear. I got a vision of me packing my suitcase, going to the airport and doing it on my own. Cause I was like, I really need to be on my own. I'm really
Mm.
just need to total break away. And it all was like clear, 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 boom. And it felt so aligned. And then I was like, oh, but COVID and oh, but you have to do a test. And what if the test is, and then they keep changing the rules about which country, and then that will mess things up. And then, oh, and then what it's going to be is so difficult to arrange and blah, 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 blah. And so all of that, I talked myself out of doing what was clearly needed to be done at that time. And now, 2 months later, if anything, it should be easier for me to travel because we've opened up now more and people are doing it now and it's a bit more. But I'm trying to make myself book something, look for something, and I can't. And I think it's because
You missed that
the
boat.
time is wrong. I missed the boat. I should have done it then. And I don't know why now is not the right time. I just know that energetically something doesn't feel aligned in the way that it did then. And therefore, for now, I'm just staying put. Unless, and on another day it comes clear again, then I might do it. But I missed that boat. And
Yeah.
now I'm down another road, and the universe is going to have to try and take another route to get me back because I
It's
didn't
funny.
listen to what it told me to do when it
I
told me
could
to do it.
see you standing at that like bank, right? Because when we were going through that forest, that GPS guided, you know, journey.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're going to be approaching a river, but you hear a stream and you're like, oh, okay, I'm getting to a river. And, it's like, oh, shit. You don't ask. You don't know because, like, you didn't set off going, oh, I might need a boat because I might come across a river because I might need to get across the river, right? We don't ask those questions.
No.
So why do we do it? Why do we do it when we're creating? It's like, hey, listen, the universe is guiding you to a river, which means that the universe is going to provide the boat. So you just need to chill the F out. Now you just need to listen and get there on the divine timing of getting to the boat. However, if that boat has sailed, pardon my pun, or don't, literally, if that boat has sailed, the universe goes, recalculating route. Now you're heading somewhere else. But you don't know if you're going to A, B, C, or D. Again, just keep putting in your visions, right? If you got more, put in your vision, but continue walking. I mean, don't stop because you're not going to get to any of them.
That's really, I think, very important as well.
Don't stop.
And recalculation as well, I think, is really important because I really believe that that's true. That if you do have your soul's highest vision plugged into your GPS and it is your truth and it is consistent and you do plug it in, and obviously, like we said, it evolves over time, but if it's really coming from that place and that energy, it will all be there within each vision, even if it looks like it's changing. The essence of it is true. If you hold on to that, and your universe will keep recalculating your route. Doesn't matter how many times you fuck it up and you go wrong and you don't listen. The point is, as long as you've still got that destination in there, it's going to keep recalculating you. It's going to keep recalculating. It's going to do it again and again, and it will just keep recalculating to get you there.
What's important in all of that you just said, right, is that I could just so easily see myself going, oh, new vision, oh, new vision, oh, new vision. And I've now got like multiple destinations, right?
Yeah. So now imagine what the GPS is trying to do. Sorry. Basically, it's like keeps changing.
But that's the thing. And at the end of the day, though, at some point, you got to go, well, let me just reach one stop before I put in another one.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, really important for someone like me and my GPS is, say I've got, again, a handful of visions, right? Like all my ideas, great. Right now I've got, say, 6 creative ideas, and I go ahead and put all those 6 destinations I want to get to in my board. As long as I tell myself that I'm going to keep these destinations in mind and not add more while I'm on route, perhaps. And I think that's the change that's coming for me right now is because otherwise you keep walking around in circles. You're in that roundabout. You end up in that roundabout.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it. Exactly.
How
and when you reach your destination, exactly. Like, let's say you've got a destination. It could even be like a quite a big one that's quite far away, or not. I don't want to say far away, but quite a big drastic destination. Well, when you get there, you've now got new things around you that you've never seen before because you've never been here before. So now, actually, I want to go to this place now that's down that road or over there and look like that. New destination. But yeah, exactly like you're saying. If you keep changing your destination and never actually getting to you're going to be all over the place, and GPS is just going to keep like getting in a mess, and you're just going to be going round and round. But I just think there's such an amazing and true example of how creation works, how the creative orientation works, how consciousness works, and how our focus works. And how we do silly things along the way, but it's okay.
So what
going round and round about.
What are we calling our focus in all of that? Are we calling our focus so the destination, is our vision, right?
Yeah.
And obviously where we are and walking is our current location / our current reality.
Yeah.
Right. And the journey or the path is the process of getting to our vision. Right. And what's that focus? That focus is really important because, like you just said, I know before I said just keep adding your destination. That's okay. I think we need to I think even Google has a limit of how many destinations you can stop at. Right. Maybe we should check that out and base my destination on Google. No, I'm kidding. But let's say we have you tell yourself 10 visions, 4 visions, whatever. You have to you have to know how many you're going in with, maybe. But what are we calling that focus? That focus of not continually changing your vision, because if you do, you're getting freaking nowhere.
I think it's back to that word, right? Discipline. So discipline is, to me, discipline is all of the things you just mentioned. It's holding a consistent vision. It's knowing where you currently are. It's knowing the next inspired, intuitive direction to take, turn left here, turn around here, whatever it might be. And it's doing those things. Like, I think maybe it's that simple, is that that's what discipline is. And knowing that your destination is plugged in. So even if it says you got to climb a hill now and you're like, oh, that hurts, I don't want to climb a hill, I'm so lazy. It's like, no, just climb the freaking hill, because it's taking you towards your destination. So I feel like that's the discipline, and the focus is really constant. It's not like, it's all of it, and it's constant.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not. I mean, it is easy. It's very easy once you get there, right? The universe clears the pathways as you go along. It really is. It really does. But you might experience hardships along the way. You know, there's nothing to say that in the forest a bear might not jump at you, and things. Again, remember, and this is something that Philgood said, and that really kind of resonated with me and you as well, I think. But you got to remember that yes, you've got your vision, but life and people and other consciousness and collective consciousness exists, right? So it would be really unwise to say that no one else's consciousness has any effect on yours, because that's like saying that our consciousnesses aren't one. It isn't one consciousness. And for me, it's like saying the bear might jump out of the way, or a man might show up down the path, or you know, someone really charming just shows up and is like, oh hey, and you're like, whoa, distraction, you know. All of a sudden, you just got to remember, don't start living their vision.
Don't follow them. Just imagine that. So like, you just see that.
Them.
Yeah, they take you astray, and they take you down this road, and you're like, oh yeah, this is nice over here. Let's hang out over here and you spent time, you spent energy. And it may not be part of your route. It may not be part of your route. It may not be reaching you to your vision and your destination. Absolutely.
Or like that tempting fruit, you know, sometimes you have to, it's so tempting, but you just have to, again, just look at your destination and go, oh, you know what? I've got 20 minutes to make it there, whatever your time is. And you're, you know, it's not to say you're in a rush to get there, but remember, if the timing is right, and there will be temptations along the way. Always. There will always be temptations along the way. But remember, those aren't your temptations. Those are the universal temptations that may be coming from someone else's vision, from someone else's creation, that are going to 100%. Like, we're energies. They have to interact with yours, right? They're going to be there.
Yeah.
And that's that sacrifice and that focus of getting to your destination that comes in.
Yeah.
And that's where your fruit is going to be. This fruit isn't for you. This person isn't for you. This stop isn't for you. This, you know, this, and you see a taxi and you're like, oh, let me take a car ride.
And that's it. And also following groups, right? Because groups are even more exciting to follow than one person. There's a whole group of people going down this way. Oh, that looks fun. Let me go hang out with them. And before you know it, you're part of the group and you're heading down this road on this group. And is that really your truth? Do you really want to be going where they're going? And you lose complete track of like your own thing, because you're so distracted by everybody else, and you've forgotten what your heart is, your soul, your truth, your vision, your destination. And then it's like, oh, because you spent so much time with the group, and now you've realized, shit, my destination's over there. And you got to leave the group, and now they're all looking at you like, oh, but you've been with us for this time. How dare you? Where are you going? Don't you like us anymore? Oh, nah, that's painful, right? But why did you go with them in the first place is the question.
Yeah. And your ego's with you on this whole journey, right? Don't forget that backpack you're carrying. Remember that we've done this before, that backpack, that heaviness, that burden of everything. Your ego is with you, right? It's there on this journey. It's there to remind you. Don't forget, it's going with you. You can't get rid of it. You don't want to get rid of it. But you have to remember that your vision and your destination has absolutely nothing to do with your backpack. Your backpack can't get there on its own. Your backpack is not going to help you get there. Your backpack is going to slow you down, if anything.
Yeah. But it tries to. It's kind of like a backseat driver. You know, and it's like, no, I think you should go this way. You should do it that way. And it's like, it's trying to like press the buttons on your sat nav as well. It's like, no, I think we should put this in. Let's go there. And it's like a crazy little child that like has no idea what it's doing, but is a bit excited and wants to do everything. And it's there, and it interferes. It does interfere, and like you say, it's always going to be there.
I love it. I want to make this the sat nav / GPS /
This is
this is it.
this is it. I can see a lot of cartoons coming out of this.
Aussie accent. Oh my god, it's gonna have an Aussie accent. I can literally see a
Oh
little
my
mini
God.
video. What is that? The stop motion video on this. A little. It's anyway. I'll look at that stop motion picture. But
okay, I'm back in the room.
yeah. Oh, that was.
Dude, we've been going for like nearly 2 hours. That was cool. That was fun. I like that.
When we go, right?
Exactly. Lots of ideas in there,
Like,
right?
okay, we're just gonna settle up and close out. At
Yeah, I was like, we're finishing now. Then a whole nother show comes. That was really good though. That last bit. That was really good.
I like
really
that.
Like
There's
that.
a lot of cartoons coming from that.
Yeah, really good. Really good.
The GPS of life.
So, I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure what. Yeah, you do want to do, but I only want to do like 1 or 2. I don't feel like I can do like loads. But I'm gonna use my new deck first.
Let's just use. We'll use these 2. It's been a minute.
Huh?
We'll use one. I'll do 1 for me, 1 for you. You do 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for me.
Sorry, I didn't understand that. You do. Oh, so I'm just going to Jimmy did your maths puzzle, by the way, whatever it was, which was the answer was 84.
Oh, it was
and
close.
He says lesson of the day is to ask, what am I creating? Which Jimmy, hopefully our little ramble there has helped you with that.
What is my destination?
Exactly. What's my destination? And then do your little structure of that. And
for everyone who has that question, there's tools out there to help you get to your destination.
Exactly. Absolutely. Intuitive tools. And
you already know.
You do know. So why don't we? Okay. So did we say we want to do? Did you want to?
1 of these and 1 of those.
Okay, great. Sounds good. For each of us, and then Jimmy, if you're still around, let us know. If anyone's around and wants a card, we've been going for a long time now. So if anyone wants a card reading, let us know. We'll pick 1 from each deck. And if you have a question, let us know. Or if you just want a general, either way, all good. But for now, whilst people are pondering that, let's do 1 for each other. So can I get you to draw for me?
Yeah, I was actually going to say I want to draw for you. So it's good. Yeah,
go for it.
I'm still on your little path of waiting for that boat over there that you missed.
Yeah. So the general vibe of all of that, I just want something for that.
Oh, there it is. Fell out. Ooh. Communication.
Okay.
Wonder how the other person's feeling? Ask them. Wish they knew how you were feeling? Tell them. You've just been drafted into the communication army where there is a strict do, ask, do, tell policy. Speak with kindness, gentleness, and reach an understanding. If you don't, assumption will just make asses of everyone, including the person who came up with that aphorism. Here's what's coming up for me really, really hard.
Yeah.
Based on everything we just did, this isn't about talking to somebody else. Yeah. This is communication with yourself. This is communication and constant communication. And it's that lack of communication that happens that you go into that tension, that overwhelm of, oh my God. And it really is that disconnect between your vision and what you were trying to create to where you're going. And then it's like, but I got to do this. And there's this huge disconnect of like just talking to yourself and being like, where am I going? What am I doing? Rechecking. How am I feeling right now? Constantly setting that intention, which is a form of communication with yourself, with your true self, and going, what is my intention for this? What is my goal? What is my destination? And constantly checking in with yourself and communicating with yourself, because you're doing everything. You go, okay, got my vision, got this, yeah, and I'm going to do it. However, haven't done my choices, haven't done this, haven't really touched base with me on how I'm feeling. Haven't stopped to like just taking a moment to be like, wait a minute, what's going on? I did this today. Let me reflect on what I did. Let me communicate with my soul and say, hey there, soul, what's going on? How you feeling today? Oh, you feeling overwhelmed? Well, not my soul, because that's your ego. All right, my ego's overwhelmed. How's my soul feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Bridge that gap. Communicate to bridge a gap. Because what does communication do when there's conflict? It bridges a gap or a difference of opinion. And that overwhelm really comes in when your soul loses touch with, with what you're doing and creating, and there's no communication. There's no, like, when's the last time you actually did something and then asked
Do you
yourself,
know what?
what's going
Sorry.
on?
Yeah, sorry, no, you just like fuck is all flowing through as you're saying it, is that communicating with my soul. I used to spirit write almost every day.
Yeah.
I was doing my choices every day, and those were acts of communicating with my soul. And I haven't done either of those things for so long. And it's right, I don't check in. I'm not checking in. And I think I'm definitely starting that process in terms of like I'm getting my choices done again. But actually, it's not even just that. It's like I stopped spirit writing. I stopped connecting. I stopped receiving. Because I haven't been communicating at all. And that is a very, very, very good message. That
What really stood out too is just speak with kindness and gentleness, right? And that overwhelm, if you actually truly connected to your soul, and Pinky soul, is there overwhelm just even glimpsing at it? No. Is there kindness and gentleness? Yes. And it's your ego going, oh, you're not good enough. This isn't good enough. You're not doing enough. Even just the other day, you're like, I feel like I've just got nothing done. And it's like, stop. Talk to your soul. We somehow at some point, because we're just doing so well, begin to think that, I'm on the right path. I know what I'm doing. I've got it. Like I don't need the instruction manual anymore. Right? This is what really came to me. Oh my God, today I gotta say it is this is what it is. It's like learning, it's like reading a book of instructions how to build something, right? And then either not building it or completely putting the book aside and trying to put 1,000 parts together, thinking that you've mastered this book of instructions by looking at it once or twice, right? And it's like, no, you have to constantly go back and look at the book. You have to constantly communicate with someone who's giving you the instructions, and the soul is where all of these instructions have come from. So what makes us think? What makes you think that all of a sudden you've got it? What makes you think that you just know without talking to your soul? Because your soul's going, hello, GPS, hello, look at me, turn left, trying to communicate with you. And you're going, do. Ooh, look at this tree. No, stop. Communicate with your soul. And whether it's every day or every 2 days, like, you can't forget that your vision came from your soul. So who the hell are you and your ego to even think for a second that you can do this without communication with your soul? Where did you take the reins?
I love that.
Wow.
Let me just write that down. That was powerful. Your vision came from your soul. So who are you? Just think you can do it without the soul.
That was, yeah.
That was amazing.
That was.
That is a really important message. It's so funny because last night when I was heading to bed, something said to me, pick up your spirit writing book, pick up your spirit writing book, pick up your spirit writing book. So that was my GPS going, turn left, turn left, turn left. What did I do? I picked up my mobile phone and scrolled through crap for 2 hours. And now it's like, this to me is like the universe is redirecting me. It's going, recalculating. Okay, we need to send Rita in to give her a message because she dumb. She ain't listening to us. So Rita's coming in now with cards and everything, saying this is your message.
I know as soon as I pulled that card, you were like, nah, I'm not feeling it. It.
I didn't want to hear it. My ego didn't want to hear it.
Literally, I said communication and you went,
yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Not really fitting for me right now.
Yeah.
Something told me to just go with it. It was it.
That's amazing and very much what I know I need. So that is, because that's exactly it. I've put it all on myself, right? I've forgotten that I'm not in this alone. I've forgotten that, like you say, if the soul creates your vision, the soul creates the vision. Like, it creates the vision and it creates the vision.
Yeah.
So
we might want to. I was gonna say, sorry, my phone's gonna die on Insta. You want to hang up Insta for the rest of this?
Yeah, we can do. I don't think anyone's watching over there, are they?
No.
Okay.
All right, bye Instagram. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna continue doing cards.
We're on
the segment.
We're on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to go there, you're more than welcome to come and join us over there. And I'll get comments and things if you want a reading. So thanks for joining, and I'll post this later. Cheers. Bye. Okay. So, oh, do you know what's also really interesting? I did that on my Wi-Fi, and
Yeah,
I'm on my Wi-Fi on my laptop.
you were really, really, really cutting out the whole. Ashley said
Oh,
she couldn't hear you on Instagram, so I don't know. We'll check that later.
oh,
She texted-
really?
Yeah.
She couldn't. Oh, okay. Maybe that wasn't a good idea then. I was like, oh, it worked. It might be
No,
this as well, though.
it was really
Anyway,
choppy. Whatever. It's fine.
um,
It's a good
so
session.
good.
So.
Anyway, so right, okay. So communication for me, communicating with my soul. Which, do you know, just even saying those words makes me feel like I'm gone back home again, because it's like I forgot for weeks, even months. I forgot what I am, what I'm part of, what I'm supported by, what I'm guided by, where my vision comes from, where truth is, consciousness, the field of infinite intelligence. I forgot. I forgot it. I'm just realizing now how much I forgot that. And so just to engage in some connection and communication again frequently, like I used to, is definitely resonating with me. So I love that. So I'm going to pull one for me on the same thing, or I'll just say general, and then we'll do one for you. Jimmy did comment as well, by the way. He said he's just feeding the dog, but he's there. Don't know if he said he wants a reading. I'll have a look in a moment. But I'm going to take this card that is jumping out. This says, I mean, this is another one where I'm like, what? This is, okay, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. I'm not. My GPS is giving me this card, and I'm about to say no. I'm not turning left. I'm gonna turn right instead. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go with it. Celebrate your love. Celebrate your love. When we cherish our beloved, although immediately that to me means
Right, your soul.
that's my soul. That's my soul. Yeah. Oh man, the bond grows stronger. We create deeper levels of trust, intimacy, and friendship. It's all too easy to get comfortable and put your relationship on cruise control. So spice it up instead. Cruise control, just when we were doing like car and GPS and driving.
Literally,
And
what I just said
that's-
is who makes us think that like all of a sudden,
yeah.
it gives you the way, and then we're like, oh, I've got it, and I've got
And
it
then
from
you're
here,
like
and then
cruise control. I know.
without
Yeah.
checking in.
And literally cruise control after we're using an hour of fucking like GPS
GPS.
analysis. Oh my god. Okay, do something special and spontaneous. I like that, because the rut is not good. And if you're currently looking for your soulmate, I'm looking for my soulmate. Have you seen that? Have you seen that on meme? It's like, stop looking for your soulmate and start looking for your soulmate.
Soulmate.
Yeah, so
No.
that's how I read that. If you're looking for your soul, mate, yes, I am. Take yourself out for a fun date. The happier and more connected you are to yourself, the more attractive you'll be to others. And yeah, I really vibe with that in terms of that's what that is, that connection to myself, my true self, my soul. What else is obvious about that to me is to play with that, to connect, be friends with it, to it is my friend, and actually have fun and do fun things like I used to when oh my god, I haven't done art for ages. Remember, we were doing art, painting on my tablet, writing, doing my choices, imagining, doing spirit writing, all these wonderful things that I loved doing, that connected me and brought me closer to my relationship with my own soul. I have barely done them in 6 to 8 weeks or so, 6 weeks more, maybe more. And I don't know why that is, but it doesn't really matter. I don't need to analyze that. What I need to know is that my current reality is I lost connection to my soul, and I stopped doing the things that connect me to my soul. And therefore, clearly through these actions, through these cards, is communicate and do the things that I was doing that connect me to my soul. And it's really that simple.
Can you read the last bit of that again? Just after cruise control.
Cruise control says spice it up instead. Do something special and spontaneous. And if you're currently looking for your soulmate, take yourself out for a fun date. The happier you are and more connected you are to yourself, the more attractive you will be to others.
And how that translates to me, and what's clear to me about that, what's obvious to me, is that it's exactly that. Like, the happier you are, the more content you are, with yourself, which is your true self in nature, the more joy you're going to feel in doing your work, the less overwhelmed you're going to feel, the less any of those things. And really, one of the key things in there was learn to trust your soul.
Yeah.
Really, like actually learn to trust your soul, because it's almost like that thing of turn left. No. I'm just gonna try to go straight for a sec. Let me just see what happens. And then getting lost in that, I just see what happened, and then kind of going, well, why am I so lost? And my GPS isn't working. No, you stop talking to it. You stop listening to it.
Yes, that's it.
You're not
That's all
showing it
that's
any
happened.
love.
No, I'm
And
not
you're
giving any
going
attention.
entirely from your mind and your ego.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not even friends with it. I've barely even been friends with it. I was friends with it a little bit the other day when I did my Land of Plenty and stuff, and I connected a bit, but then I said, oh, well, I'm struggling to do my choices, you know. Yeah, this reconnection is really important to me right now. This is all very much on point. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy's had to go and dog is nagging. Thanks, Jimmy. We will
Thanks
see
for
you
watching, doggy.
soon. And let's do yours, and then I think we can close after that. I'm getting quite tired now. So do you have a question or a
2-hour session. We want to do this live? We can. Yeah, whatever.
huh?
I have a question.
Yeah, a question or an intention or a focus area.
Universal GPS. Give me your.
Okay.
Show me your coordinates. Show me my coordinates.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Are you working? Universal GPS? What's going on?
Okay. I'm getting 3, but at the same time, I'm not sure.
Don't question it.
Okay, let's go with it. Let's go with it. All right. Well, do you know what? Actually, that's interesting. I got 2 first, and then I've picked up the last one. But actually, I think the other 2 were actually the ones. Let me go with it. You can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And then the other one is adventure awaits. So you can't please everyone. When you're focused on living up to other people's standards, you aren't spending enough time raising your own. Some folks expect you to act a certain way and march to the beat of their boring drum. They find safety in sameness, but you have a beautiful music inside you. Your flair is meant to be shared. Don't shrink to fit in or get approval. Instead, dump your need to please and just be your magnificent self. And so, what's obvious to me about that in terms of GPS and where you're at is exactly, like I was saying earlier, how you found a crowd, or not even necessarily a crowd, but like you were saying, just one person or 2 people or a few people who've taken you down this road. And so your GPS at the moment, your current coordinates, is that I'm looking at where they're going and thinking that I should be trying to go where they're going. What flashes up for me is about the job thing. So the job thing is there has to be a logical way in which this is going to pan out, and I'm going to go to the next step or whatever it is, or the solution. And I'm looking to see what other people are experiencing in the same situation, because they've got the answer. They know I'm going to follow them. No, your path is not the same. So, whatever's going to happen with this job situation is going to come to you through your GPS, not through what they're doing and thinking and their plans and their understanding of what's going to happen with it and what they're going to get their next job, how, where, what. You're at the moment following them and you're trying to see, like, well, they'll know. But actually, that is going to take you away from where your GPS wants you to go next. And where your GPS wants you to go next is actually very different from where their GPSs are telling them to go, because you're not meant to be on that path. And so we don't know what that is yet. But what we know, and this card confirms, is it's going to be something that may not be what you have thought or expected in your logical mind, but you need to be open to that. And what that means is, are you willing to look away from the known and the crowd and the logic and the rationale and what everyone else thinks and what would be stable and what would be secure and what would make sense? Are you willing to look away from that, and go to your GPS, which is calling you down roads that look a bit uncertain, that look like they've not been walked before? They don't have paving. There's no clear path or track there, but it's taking you there for a reason, because you're going to find at the end of that a beautiful garden, meadow, sprinkling magic fountain with fairy dust and stuff going on that other people aren't going to see, because they're not meant to see that. So but to get there, you have to go down a path that other people have never been down and don't understand and don't want, and it's one that only the GPS is calling you to go on, your GPS. And it's not even calling you, it's whispering. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle calling that says, this is the way, Ree, this is the way. And it's going to scare you because it's not the way that your mind can understand, and it's not the way that everyone else is doing, and it's not the way that everyone else understands, but it is the way that is going to bring you to something much more creative and magical that you don't currently understand at the moment. So that's what I'm getting about that one, which actually, interestingly, then when we look at the next one, is adventure awaits. Adventure awaits says, break up your routine and live a little, sweetheart. It's time for some adventure. Plan a vacation, Thailand. We gotta go, dude. Take a spontaneous drive. It's all about driving. A change of pace and scenery will do you good. Plus, you never know whom you'll meet or what you'll experience along the way. Exactly what we were talking about. So a fabulous, right? A fabulous new friend or partner, a spectacular meal at a charming local joint, the vista of a lifetime, adventure awaits. And so to me, that is just absolutely resonant with what came up for me on this other one, which is that your path is going to be an adventure. So when things are changing in future, and as I say, I got that it was about the job predominantly. There may be something else mixed in there, but ultimately, your path is not the same as everyone else's, and there is a much more compelling, spontaneous, new, exciting, colorful, expansive adventure that is awaiting you, and it is not going to look like what has come before. And I actually even am called to say this: remember this in a few months' time. Remember what's being said here, because you are going to look back and realize that you're going to be called down an adventurous path. That means something different to what you've been doing for so long so far, and you're going to be scared to take it because it doesn't make sense. But this is the adventure that takes you to the fountain of fairies and glitter and unicorns and amazingness. But it's a path that is not well trodden, and it's going to look scary to you, and you're going to hang on, I don't know how to go down that, don't want to go down that, is it even safe to go down that? But everyone else is like, Ree, why the hell would you go down that? That looks like a really stupid place to go down, that looks even dangerous, don't go there, do this is safe. But you're going to be called to go down it, and it is very different from what you've known so far. And so, but it's going to give you something different at the end of it as well. And even along the way, you're going to build strength and muscles and experiences. And it's going to be a little bit frightening, because it's like, oh, I don't normally do this kind of thing. Normally I would go for something more safe and secure and stable and predictable and something that everyone else agrees with. But that's not what you're meant to be doing when this comes through to you, and it will be clear to you when it's coming, and you're going to start to see signs of it, and you're going to start to see it unfolding, and you're going to start to see that here is this path in front of me that GPS is telling me to go down, and it's rocky and it's strange and it's narrow, and I can't even see the next turn in there, but I'm going in there. And you're going to start to see that coming, and every part of you will not want to go down. Ego part of you won't want to go down, and everyone else is going to be like, that's dangerous, that's dangerous. Well, the question is going to be for you: are you ready for this adventure? Are you ready to follow your GPS? Because your GPS isn't lying to you. It knows how to get you to your destination. Where everyone else is trying to get you is to their destination, of safety and security and blah, 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 blah. But GPS doesn't, this is the universe GPS. This is not a TomTom or a Google Maps. This is universe GPS. This is like another dimension of GPS. and it is taking you to another dimension. Therefore, it's going to seem a little unfamiliar and a little like, oh, never been on roads like this before. Oh, never done that before, because you're in another galaxy. You're in another dimension when you're on this GPS. And so that is what I feel is coming up for you in the next few months, particularly towards the rest of this year, I think. An adventure and an untrodden path that may be scary for you to go down. I feel like that's complete.
Okay, thank you.
I like it. I want to go on that adventure.
All the fears, all of it. I can do one.
Go for it.
Oh. You got to see the picture, though. Letting go. What did I say? My biggest lesson from my Guruji was just let it go.
Yeah.
I don't dwell on bad things that happened. I let things go because I have enough heavy things to carry around. And also, grudges aren't a great look.
Oh my God, is the freaking backpack going on an adventure, going on a journey? I can't. What is it? A maze attack?
Amazing attack. Amazing attack. Yeah.
That's so cool, dude.
I don't dwell on bad things that happened. I mean, it's not really a bad thing. It's a thing, though. I don't dwell on it.
Yeah.
I don't carry it around. Let it go.
Yeah. And you take your little backpack and you go on a little adventure.
My backpack.
I love that. I can't believe I have
trekking
backpack
through the
on
forest.
as well. You literally, and you're going on an adventure, and it's like, and we're talking about GPS. This is like too. I mean, it's all.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in.
God, how long have we been going? 2.25.
Yeah.
Hey, that was good though. I really enjoyed the last bit in particular with the when we started going to our little GPS, man. That was really good.
That's where we got into like our flow. But hey.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. This is how it is, right? And no, I enjoyed that. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else, or shall we close?
Let's close.
Close.
I have to blow my nose.
That was good. I like that one. Okie dokie dokes. Chat to you all later.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
For tuning in. Thanks. Bye.